Hello, yes, it's me, Genesis, and today I'm gonna show you in real time, well not, and today I'm gonna show you how I make my beats, like my sampled beats. So first of all we have this sample right here. And what I do is that I usually put some sort of compression on it, and it really depends on the sample. If I want it to sound bright, I usually put the combination of an OTT and multi-band compression, which are just presets on here in Ableton. Or let's say if I just want to keep like the quality of the sound the same, like no need to add any shimmer or no need to add any bass or whatever, I would just use a flat line instead, and then just drag down the amount and just, you know, mess around with a little bit of these things. So let's just refreeze this again. The way I chop my samples is not by using like a drum rack with lots of samplers in it, or using one simpler and then just chopping up in there. No, because I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me that way. I just like trying to find the chops I want in a lot more detail, which is just literally getting this, finding places that I like it, and whenever I like it I go on another track and just copy it here. The way I chop my samples is not really that strict, because sometimes I like to chop on where there's direct chord chains, like for example here, here, and here. But also sometimes I do it a couple of notes before or after there's a chord change, just to make it sound nice and sloppy. So like for example, that chop there, the bass note starts here, indicating a new chord change, but the actual chop sound starts around here. Same with this one. And this allows for more flexibility in my end. For some beats, some chops, I like to keep the vocals out of the way completely, or if I feel like there is any need of it, then sometimes yes, I will add it in, but usually I use chops that cut off the vocals, because if I want to, or if someone else wants to use this beat for a rap, or if I want to put some acapella into it, then there's at least some space for the vocals or for the other artists to shine through. Oh, I completely forgot to tell you how I do this stuff. In order to chop a sample, hold Control or Command if you're in Mac, and then E. That'll split the sample from where your playback head is or where you click. And in order to copy and paste it somewhere else whilst also leaving the, you know, original in the same place, hold Control, click and drag, and release. And also to scroll left and right, hold Shift and use the scroll wheel. And zooming in, of course, is Control and then zooming in and out with the scroll wheel.
Maghapot magdam maghapot magdamag silang nakay nakay ang nakulang sa sa pagdagday pilitig ingay ihabag na maingat ang ginalang na ay bakal sa araw kay online ikaw pag-ibig pag-ibig ang mga boy.
My philosophy of chops, as some people might say, whenever I try to go for like some sort of chord in the song, I don't just limit it to one chop. I try and find other places in the song where it's also used. I looked for like so many chops of the same chords and stuff, just so I'm able to have some more freedom in like rearranging chops and making some new sequences, just for a bit of a bit of variation. Alright, so once I've done selecting the samples, I just get rid of this, turn it off, and turn this on. When it comes to setting tempos, I don't really care about the original sample, and I just go for what I feel like I want to do. So 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I usually have a key binded to the tap tempo up here, and for me it is the right square bracket. And once I've got the tempo done, I'll just turn off warp mode for everything, and now I can just start doing my chop arrangements. And also I usually tune it down.
Bye.
As you can hear right now, it's pretty ambiguous, but this is just a draft for now. And if I like it, then I'll just keep it. Alright, now I go for further processing. So I will use a bit of a flat line maybe to bring out the low end, and to try and keep the quieter sounds a bit louder, because I'm not bothered to go in here and then just drag the volume in. And maybe a bit of erosion. Drums time. Pull up a drum rack. I've got a MIDI keyboard here, but if you don't have one, you can still use your actual computer keyboard. I'll just search for a kick. I know you may not be able to see this, but I've got a loop cloud open, and I'm pretty sure a few of you already know what loop cloud is, considering there's a few videos on it. I'll just look for a hi-hat first. I'm gonna do my drum workflow a bit differently just for this this style beat, and hopefully this will turn out nice. Okay, now for a few kicks. That'll do. I like that. do that. Actually, I'll add this sound to here. Oh, I need to tell you how I did that. In order to make a new instrument rack, just like how I did with the snare, move it to a different place, hold Alt, click drag, let go, and then there's your instrument rack. I just want that little ring at the end of that snare. That sounds nice. Need some more percussion. When it comes to programming drums, I usually use Drum Bus. It's just one that I've used ever since I switched to Ableton 10. It's one of my favorites. Instant beefer. In every beat I do, I put in some sidechain compression. And this can be done with just any regular old compressor, as long as it has the sidechain thing. My usual formula is threshold -26. Everything else stays the same except this one. Sometimes it's on 60, sometimes it's on 40. And then I put the drums in through the input here. And I just take a listen. And usually I only want the kick and snare to pop through. And I just use the EQ for that. I think I might add in snare roll. I'll just loop this twice, and then time for a new sequence. I feel like I want to add a bass line now. Whenever doing bass lines with operator, I always put the attack on 6, so there is no clicking sound. I also put sidechain compression on the sub bass or bass line to ensure that the kick does not clash with the bass line. I just turn down the dials a bit more just to make sure that only the kick is passing through, so it won't have to duck on the snare. Alright, I feel like there needs to be some tape warble, and there are many different ways to do that.